I'm doing it. I'm showing you the real freaking numbers. Like my real budget. For real. Hello friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Miley and I'm sitting in a swivel chair, so you're gonna see me do this all through the video. Today, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, as you know, credit cards, paying off debt, having smart finances. I'm gonna show you the real numbers, yes, my real freaking budget, the real money I spend, the real spreadsheet that I have on my computer that I consult pretty much every day to show you how to strategically take on consumer voluntary debt to make purchases that you want to make and pay them off in a smart way, all while avoiding interest, paying them off really quick, and not affecting your day-to-day fun, entertainment, voluntary spending in other areas. So before we dive into anything in this video, the first thing I want to make very clear is that this video is about consumer debt, voluntary debt. I am not talking about emergency spending. I'm not talking about how to pay off existing debt. I'm talking about taking on a specific consumer, totally voluntary debt and how to be strategic about paying that off and taking on that debt in a smart way. And I'm doing it because if you haven't seen mine and Eric's New Year's resolution video, we talk about our main goal this year as a household is to pay off our consumer debt. So we have a little bit of consumer debt. We've moved 3 times in just a little bit over a year. I know that sounds crazy. And if you go back and watch some of our older videos, you'll kind of see that situation. But moving comes with a lot of expenses. And we were really smart about the way we moved for the most part, but there were some fun things and some necessary things that we wanted to purchase that we didn't necessarily have thousands of dollars sitting around right then to pay for, but we still needed for our new home. So I am going to take you through our personal consumer debt, our real life debt that we have, and some of the home purchases that we've made in our new house, and show you our entire plan for paying them off without paying any interest and doing it all without interrupting the rest of our budget at all. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So the very first step, the very first thing that everyone should absolutely have, regardless of if you're trying to take on extra voluntary debt or not, but every single person should have a freaking budget. You need to know how to keep track of your money, how to use it to the best of its ability, and be financially responsible. So budgets can be really simple, they can be really complicated, and they can be anything in between. So here's how we break down our budget. First, the very first step in creating this budget and ultimately taking on some voluntary consumer debt and paying it off smartly is to determine your income versus your expenses. Super easy, super straightforward. All you have to do is write down every single thing that you spend money on. So I would start with the big stuff like rent, bills, your utility, your internet, your water, things that you absolutely have to pay every single month. Start with those necessities first and make sure that those are the top priority of your budget. Those are things that are always going to be taken care of, and go from there. Then you can add in other things that aren't bills, but that are true necessities still, like grocery money, your gas money, your savings, or retirement or investment or anything like that that you deem super necessary. Add that into your budget too. Make sure all that necessary stuff is totally taken care of and accounted for before you add in the fun stuff. But then add in the fun stuff, add in the extras. Add in your entertainment, you're going out to eat, you're going to a movie, or having a vacation fund, or taking your dogs to the groomers, or your kids' activities, whatever those extra fun things may be, add those into your budget as well. Literally account for every single dollar that you spend and categorize it based on what makes sense for you. Take your expenses and subtract them from your income, and whatever money is left, that is what we consider our cushion money or our flexible money. For us, our flex money is about $500-ish, give or take each month, that is unaccounted for. And we consider this a cushion that we can use as flex for making voluntary purchases or taking on consumer debt. So you can see that one of the tabs on Eric and I's budget right here is income versus expenses, where we break down the money that we bring in versus the money that goes out to determine that cushion amount. That's what this tab is for. I'm not going to show you the nitty and gritty of this one just because you don't need to see like the bills I pay and how I allocate funds. Maybe I'll show you that in another video. Let me know down below if you'd like to see it and how we strategically save money, but that is a topic for another time in another video. And then step 2 is once you know your income versus your expenses and that cushion amount that you have each month to use on voluntary debt to take on, you want to make sure that you're managing your due dates and create a bi-weekly budget that breaks down, or however you get paid. Eric and I both get paid bi-weekly, and so that's how we break down our monthly and yearly budgets. But if you get paid every week, break it down by each pay period. That's what we do. And this will show you where in each month your cushion funds shake out to actually be available once bills have been paid and all the other money has gone away. It'll show you on the 15th, we have $300 of our cushion available. And then on the 30th, we have the rest of it available, or whatever it may be. This will allow you to see where that $500 or whatever your cushion amount breaks out to be available when you outline all of your due dates on your budget by pay period. So that's what this tab on our budget document is. Okay, and then step 3, we finally get into actually taking on our debt. So it is very important to note that before you take on any sort of consumer or voluntary debt to make a big purchase of something that's not necessary, make sure your budget's in order. Make sure you do the first 2 steps I just talked about so that you know how much money you can smartly spend within your means and make really smart financial choices. So do those first, you guys. So in order to move to step 3 and actually take on that debt in a smart way, the first thing you should always do is look at your existing credit card accounts to see if any of them have any sort of 0% annual percentage rate promotions. That's the easiest way to get those promotions if your credit cards are offering them, because you don't have to go through an application process for a new credit card or a new line of credit. You just can use an APR promo on an existing line of credit that you already have through whatever credit card may be offering that promo. If you don't know the basics of what 0% APR means, now would be a good time to point out that I've done an entire video all about credit cards. It's kind of like Credit Cards 101. It teaches you exactly how to use credit cards to the best of your ability in a way to really make them useful and kind of work the system almost. So definitely go check out that video if you want more of an introduction to how to even use credit cards. I'll link it right up here, but for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to explain too much. You can go watch that video for any explanation on terminology or anything credit card wise you might be confused on. But you want to find a 0% APR offer. And the longer period of time they give it to you, the better. So if you look at your existing credit cards and you don't have any sort of 0% APR offers, then that's when you can start to explore new lines of credit. You can either search for credit cards that automatically give you a 0% offering for getting approved and signing up. Most big ticket purchases, whether it's like appliances, furniture, whatever it may be, usually either through the actual manufacturer or through a partner credit card company, you can find some sort of promotional offering on APR so that you can make installment payments instead of paying for it right outright. Now, I will say be very aware, because most credit card companies do not do this. You probably won't have to worry about this with your credit card company. Still double check just to make sure. But especially if you're getting any sort of installment plan offer straight from a manufacturer or a business, you want to make sure that you read that fine print, because a lot of the time, unlike credit cards, the promo is only good if your balance is completely paid off by the date that they give you. So for example, if you go in to buy a sofa and you do financing through that furniture store, and they say you have 0% interest for 12 months as long as your balance is paid off at the end. If you don't have a 0 balance at the end of that date, then they will charge you interest on the entire 12 months that you've been paying. So it's almost like back interest. So make sure that you always read the fine print and that you know that that's what you're getting into before you get into it. And if you're the kind of disciplined person that's like, yep, I can 100% do this, there is no doubt in my mind this will be paid off, I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure that I don't have to deal with all that back interest if it's not paid off in full by the date they give me, then great, go ahead and do it. But just make sure that you're 100% certain that you can take that on before you do, in situations like that where they will charge you a lot of interest if you don't have your balance totally paid off. Okay, so the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's actually get into my real budget here. So, like I said, Eric and I have taken on a bit of consumer debt because of moving. Specifically, I'm going to show you the 4 things that we purchased, the big purchases we made on totally voluntary stuff that we are committed to paying off by the end of this year in order to avoid paying any interest at all and to not have to make sacrifices in our budget on typical things we spend money on. So let's dive right in. So the 4 things that we have consumer debt on right now are, number 1, our workout equipment. So these are split into 2 different accounts. One is my treadmill, which is on our existing Amazon Prime card. And to purchase that, Amazon is really great about offering you options for big purchases. So through Amazon, you can earn, I think it's maybe like 5% cash back on purchases, which is a really great offering. You can choose 5% cash back, or you can choose 0% APR for a certain amount of time based on the dollar amount that you are purchasing. So I think it's like $4.99 and below, you get 0% interest for 6 months, and $500 and above, you get 0% interest on 12 months. So that's what we did with my treadmill. We put it on our Amazon Prime card and we chose the 0% APR promo for 12 months. And then our second thing for our home gym equipment is Eric's Tempo machine that we got in one of our most recent health journey updates. I'll link it up here if you haven't seen it. It's the freaking coolest machine. I use it a little bit too. I've done some stretching videos and stuff with him, but it was a really significant purchase. It was about $2,000, I think. My treadmill was about $600, so it wasn't that big of a purchase, but this Tempo was. It was a big commitment. And the way we purchased it was not through a credit card, but it's actually through a company called Affirm. And if you shop online at all for big stuff, then you probably see that Affirm has so many deals with so many brands to offer a loan, a consumer loan on purchases that they offer 0% APR on. So we had never done anything like that before. We usually stick to our credit cards. That's what we know, that's what we do. But we looked into Affirm and we did some research on it, and it truly is. It acts just like a credit card. You pay your installment payments, and at the end of your time period, if it's paid off, then you're good. So the third thing we took on this year as consumer debt was our new refrigerator. Now, this was a voluntary purchase because we had a refrigerator from our old house, but I really wanted a fridge in the garage. So we moved our existing fridge to the garage and thought, okay, let's do it. Let's spend some money and get a brand new, nice, really great fridge. And so we did. So we bought our new refrigerator through an appliance warehouse business, and they actually partnered with a credit card company to offer 0% APR installment payment plans. And so that's what we did. We ended up applying in the store, getting approved for the cost of our refrigerator, which was, I think, a little under $3,000. And we make monthly installment payments on that. And then our fourth thing is probably the silliest thing. And it's my beautiful West Elm chair that I love so much. You guys went on the chair saga with me to find the perfect chair for our living room, and I just couldn't find anything that I was happy with and that I wanted to make a long-term furniture investment in. Furniture is something that if it's nice, I'm going to keep it for years and years. If it's not nice, I sell it on Facebook Marketplace in 5 seconds for super cheap when I'm done with it. And so I wanted to spend money on an investment piece that I would have for years and years. And I freaking love this chair so dang much, and I'm glad we did it. So I had a West Elm card that I've used in the past for other purchases that I did the exact same thing with. And so with West Elm, they are also like the Amazon card where they automatically offer you 0% APR promotions when you spend a certain amount of money. So I believe my chair was, I don't don't want to say how much it was, but I'm going to show you my budget so you'll see anyway. So after taxes and shipping and fees, which add on like a couple $100 really, my beautiful West Elm chair that was worth it in my brain, okay, don't come at me, was a little over $1,000. And I put that on our West Elm card, and that qualified us for 0% annual percentage rate for 12 months. Yeah, for 12 months. So all of those 4 purchases together, the monthly amount that we're paying equals a little bit less than our designated cushion spending, our flex spending that's not accounted for anywhere in our budget, that about $500-ish. So we were able to take on all of those payments toward this consumer debt that we took on because it didn't go over our cushion amount. And on every single one of them, we were able to get promotions that eliminated interest from the situation. So as you can see on this spreadsheet, we have our debt payments tab, which is where we keep track of all of the consumer debt that we've taken on and how we're going to pay it off each month. So what you want to do for each one of your accounts is calculate the monthly payment that you need to make sure that your balance is 0 before the end of the APR promotion. So a lot of the time when you sign up, they'll make it seem like if you just pay the minimum amount, it will be paid off by the time the promo expires, but that is most often not the case. So make sure that you are taking that balance and dividing it by 12 or dividing it by 11 to give yourself a month's wiggle room, or even dividing it by 6 months if it's your goal to pay it off in 6 months instead of a year, so that you know exactly how much each month you need to allocate to that debt to get it paid off in time. I like to be able to pay as much as I can, as fast as I can, in order to make that flex/cushion money become available again and to get the debt paid off. So once you've paid off your smallest amount, like you can see here with our Amazon payments, pay them off in 6 months. And so we reallocate that money to your next smallest debt, or the debt that, because of the time frame your promo runs in, is most urgent. You go ahead and reallocate that money so that you can have the snowball effect that Dave Ramsey talks about and get rid of the debt faster. And then once you get to a balance that you can realistically pay off in addition to the monthly amount, then go ahead and do so. So for example, here in November of 2021, we were able to get both of the Tempo and the refrigerator balances down to an amount that we felt comfortable just eliminating and taking care of early, because we had additional funds coming in that month. Because we are both paid bi-weekly, we have 26 pay periods in a year instead of 24. And so that shakes out to be about 2 extra, 1.5 sometimes, extra paychecks that come from both of our salaries that are above and beyond what's budgeted as income. So that happened to be a month where we had an extra paycheck and were able to use that extra paycheck money, a little bit of it, to pay off both of these accounts early. So we've got our Amazon purchase of the treadmill paid off in 6 months. We've got our beautiful West Elm chair purchase paid off in 11 months. And our 2 biggest balances in our fridge and our Tempo machine paid off within a year. So that's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to meet our goal of eliminating all of our consumer debt in 1 year, by following this budget and sticking to it, reallocating that cushion flex funding that we have to pay off this debt, paying more than just the minimum balance, and snowballing the amount of money that we are utilizing to pay off consumer debt once we have paid off a balance to the next balance, instead of using that money as free money again, and taking advantage of extra income and extra paychecks that are unaccounted for to pay balances off early. So that's how we do it. That's how we're going to make it happen. We're going to do it in a smart way that accrues no interest and doesn't alter our current budget at all. We don't have to cut any corners. We don't have to eliminate anything from our existing budget. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And I can't believe I showed you my budget, but I did. That's crazy. If you have any more budgeting questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more finance videos, more productivity videos, videos about mental health, videos of shopping excursions, videos of our life, just all the things we do on this channel. I will see you next time. Bye!